So everyone knows that Blade and Soul is a very grindy MMORPG, and one of the most common things I've been seeing is that a lot of people get burnt out very quickly with Blade and Soul. And I mean, I've been playing Blade and Soul since the launch of North America and Europe, which was almost 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in January, which is pretty crazy to think about. And I think the most time I've ever taken like a break from Blade and Soul is maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. So I've had a pretty long track record with this game. I've never really gotten too burnt out. So I just wanted to kind of share my mindset on how I kind of play Blade and Soul and why I've kind of gotten to a point where, you know, I just enjoy the game for what it is and don't really get burnt out too easily. So one of the things I see time and time again with Blade and Soul players is a lot of people will rush to endgame gear. They'll do all their dailies, do all their daily quests, their weeklies, try to get to endgame gear as fast as possible, even spend a little bit of money here and there. And then what happens is NCSoft releases a patch and then we have all this new equipment to upgrade. So you just spent all this time grinding for this endgame gear, not even really enjoying the content. You're just trying to get to endgame gear, have the best gear, have the best slot weapon, all this crap. And then what happens is NCSoft releases an update and then now you're behind and you have a new tier soul you have to upgrade to that's going to take thousands of hours to get because it costs a ton of gold and time and everything. And a lot of people I see end up just quitting because they get burnt out because they're like, I just spent all this time trying to get endgame gear and now there's all this new gear I have to upgrade. And what happens is you're not really having fun because you're just grinding for the max endgame gear. Like I know many people who literally get on Blade and Soul just because they feel like they have to. They're like, I have to get on Blade and Soul because I need to run Sandstorm Temple and Ransack Treasury and my dailies and everything. And what happens is Blade Soul starts to feel like a job. It's like you feel like you have to log in, otherwise you're missing out on all your daily gold and your rewards, and you're feeling like, oh, now I'm getting behind content. And then what happens is now when they release a new update, you're even farther behind because all you're focusing on is trying to get endgame gear. Like personally for me, I keep it really simple. I log in, usually I'll do my daily quests, you know, all the ones that give over 10 gold a day, like the Hollow's Heart, Sandstorm Temple, Starstale Mines, all that. And if I log in, I'm like, you know what, I really don't feel like doing Sandstorm Temple today. It doesn't sound fun to me right now. Maybe I'm just burnt out of doing it every day. I'm not going to do it. And I don't care if I lose out, you know, on the 13, 14 daily gold you get from it. To me, it's not worth it because you're just forcing yourself to do content. And who wants to play a video game that you have to force yourself to play? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. So that's just really my mindset. I know it's really basic, but I feel like if a lot more players had this mindset, they would actually not get burnt out and quit this game, and maybe they actually learn to really just enjoy the game itself, you know? Overall though, like I feel like if you don't adapt to this mindset, there's really only a couple choices you have. One, you're going to get burnt out and just quit the game, which happens to the majority of players. Two, you're going to have to whale out like crazy and spend thousands of dollars to get to endgame gear. Or three, if you want to go the free-to-play route and get endgame gear, you're going to have to spend over 10 hours a day, 7 days a week on multiple characters. I'm talking about 8 to 9 characters doing all their dailies, doing all their weeklies, and when an event comes, doing it on all 8 to 9 characters just to gear up one character, and you're still going to be behind someone who's spending thousands of dollars on the game. So it's like, I don't really recommend those at all, because especially the one without spending any money, because Blade and Soul is literally going to be your full-time job. I don't know anyone who has that amount of time, but if you do, no, it's not a full-time job like you get 2 days off a week with a regular full-time job. In Blade and Soul, you gotta be on 7 days a week, baby. You can't have 2 days off because then you're missing out on those dailies. So I don't recommend either of those. It's really not healthy at all, either spending a ton of money or a ton of time. Really the best option in my opinion is just to go at your own pace. Like, you know, just upgrade your gear when you want. Do the dungeons when you want. Play when you want. It's just kind of like common sense stuff. But I feel like a lot of people get caught up in like the gear treadmill of Blade and Soul and just trying to get to endgame gear as fast as possible. So that's just a little advice, rant, whatever you want to call it, from, you know, a long-term player. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe you'll learn something from it. Maybe you won't. Let me know in the comments. And thank you guys for checking out the video. I'll see you in the next one real soon.